Dámy a pánové, tady opět Sara Polak, už po třetí, určitě už tady máte ty zdravice plný zuby, ale ještě to musíte se mnou teďka a ještě příští talk vydržet. Nicméně já myslím, že co od toho odpoutá pozornost je to, že máme velmi nabušený talk před náma, co se bude týkat gamingu, VR a AR, a já to teďka přepnu do angličtiny, protože budou všichni naši speakeři, protože jsou to borci, mluvit anglicky. So hello everyone. I realized that the last block in terms of embedded system, monitoring network security and humanoid robots was primarily in Czech, but we're diving fully into English back again now. I don't actually have much in terms of introduction because I'm already so excited. I just want everyone to start presenting. What we'll be doing is talking about gaming, processing of images, graphics, talking about virtual reality, augmented reality, all these sexy buzzwords that are basically everywhere around us. We know that Czechs have an amazing talent when it comes to gaming and these things. So just think of Mafia or Beat Saber. But the gentlemen here are doing this not only in the applied sector and in the commercial sector, but they're also doing a hell of a lot of great groundbreaking research on the matter. And the first man of the hour to introduce himself and what he does is Jiří Chludil. So I would like to welcome Jiří Chludil among us and invite him to share his screen and dive straight in.
Okay. Hello, my name is Jiří Chludil, and with my colleagues Radek Richter and Petr Pausch, we work on special project focused on virtual reality, artificial reality, and of course the history. Now we are in the middle of project, and I have some pictures and some videos as results from our project. First demo is a video from demonstrator of boundary of our. I will switch off comments in Czech language. Okay, this tool is for composing whole scene. This demo have some problem, of course, with shadows, but this short demo demonstrate how to compose historical scene on the intervirtual reality. This tool is very simple. You can move with buildings. I will show maybe in this area. You place on the map, and area around you is a real scene. You are in the special map room, and you can look how it's composed. This is first demo. I think it's better will be show some pictures because video, I think I have some problem with latency. Okay, I will show some screenshot. This is map room. Now we in testing area, we focus to Davis area. And on this pylons, you can choose models. Our models is from Hradec Králové, and you can place on this plate, and everything is done. This is view from outside, and now you can see a composition of buildings, and outside is a real scene. We present this demo in official video of graphics group, and now we preparing next version for publics. Second video is, second screenshots are from mobile application. This is combination of real and 3D model, real scene and 3D models. You can see model fixed on real scene. You can now we have demo we have demo with fixed position before phone. Now we plan put buildings in real position in a scene, but unfortunately we have a problem with visiting this place before. Nobody can travel to outside. Okay, this picture is from part of mapping. This is an example of mapping color building to this picture demonstrates how to maybe mixed picture of color building with real scene for better resolution is only in black and white picture. Now we have maybe very good precision. Please, Radek, help me. I think this is your work. Radek, please.
Really precision or
precision. It's better precision. It's about 5 pixels on whole image. I think it's very good. Now I will show some cooperation with scientists. I will show on Sage Lab. Okay, I will switch off stop share. Okay, and now I will show main screen. On this main screen is example of cooperation between CESNET, colleague from CESNET. This is a box of Queen of Maria Louise, is wife of Napoleon Bonaparte. Maybe this is example of real interaction. Unfortunately, I have no idea how to show to whole screen. It's really small, but you can look to pages of CESNET, models CESNET, and you can see. Second show is Madonna from Old City. I don't know. Yeah, why is still? Yeah, full screen. Okay. This is a reconstruction of real statue before reconstruction or repairing. This is before repair, and you can see every details of this statue, and you can develop how is complicated to repair everything, because we have some kind of problem to find any documentation. And now we preparing final version of our project. Now we're developing virtual reality and mobile phone clients, and of course we start a new project. For example, we preparing reconstruction of bunkers in Náchod area with virtual and modeling reality. But this project started, I think, 2 weeks ago. That's I think that's a very short description of our project in which we cooperate.
Thank you so much. And actually, can I ask about the bunkers near Náchod? Because my grandma lives very near, and it's the Dobrošov bunkers, isn't it? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's now we have. Okay, I will maybe I switch to camera. It's a little better. Okay. We plan reconstruction of Dobrošov and other structures, because many structures are lost in time, of course, and we cooperate with people from archives, and we waiting functionality to plans, and we will create 3D models, and maybe in end of I'm sorry, I forgot. July, we will have first results.
That's so cool. That is very cool. And I might ask one quick question in Czech, actually. Jenom pro účastníky, co byli na minulém COFITu, tak my jsme se tady s Jirkou bavili o ideje i třeba jako multioborové výzkumné skupiny, protože právě na tom vizuálu se krásně ukazuje to propojení různých oborů. Právě, že i ta veřejnost si to dokáže moc hezky zhmotnit v tom vizuálu, jak jsme vizuální zvířata. A mě tady to zajímá třeba v konekci na, si nemůžu pomoct, archeologické památky a třeba urbanismus. Tak když třeba ISIS rozbombardovala Palmíru, tak si pamatuju, že byla augmentovaná realita vlastně v centru Londýna, kde se lidi mohli podívat na tu římskou kolonádu, tak jak byla předtím, než byla jako rozbombardovaná. A zajímalo by mě, jaký v tomhle vidíte potenciál vlastně v zachování historie lidstva, ale i v rámci jakoby komunikování té veřejnosti, jaký výzkum se vlastně děje pod kapotou, což ta veřejnost často k tomu třeba nemá ten přístup.
Já možná si teď přejdu do češtiny, protože teď už bych to asi nedal úplně 100%. V principu tohle je obrovský význam, protože to, co vlastně já se teď, v principu je to pár hodin, kdy vlastně jsem byl oslovený na projekt právě s archeologama, který chtějí vlastně přibližovat jakoby typické ukázky jejich práce. Vemte si třeba teď vlastně končící rekonstrukce, vlastně stavba D11. Ona se nějakým způsobem strašně posunula, protože vzniklo je tam vlastně obrovský archeologický náleziště. Já jsem to právě u kolegů z Hradce, který to měli samozřejmě na starosti, viděl. Takže jako tam je to potřeba přiblížit. Další věcí, kde se dá tohoto přiblížit, je obecně muzejnictví. My jsme měli zrovna minulý týden rozhovor s panem ředitelem Petrem Grulichem, který je vlastně ředitelem Muzea východních Čech. No a tam jsme krásně vlastně řešili, jaký způsob můžou ty technologie pomoct těm muzeím, protože teď samozřejmě do muzeí nikdo tam nemůže vstoupit. A vlastně první zásadní fakt, drtivá většina exponátů je v archivále, jakoby uložena, je prostě v depozitářích. Není tam nic takového. Druhá věc, samozřejmě chce to udělat, jakoby, ano, virtuální realitu, ale musí nějakým způsobem doplňovat ty reálie. Nemůže to být samospasitelný. Cílem muzea je přitáhnout ty lidi na to místo, protože přiznejme si, virtuální realita je strašně studená. Ono to je, stále je to technika, ale když přijde do toho muzea, tak tam nevidí jenom, nemá vizuální věm z toho exponátu. On má vizuální věm z té budovy, což je třeba v Hradci Králové nádherná secesní budova, ale i ty pachy. I samozřejmě ono to dává prostě všechno dohromady komplexní obrázek a tam zdaleka z toho virtuální realitu nejsou. Ale chceme právě, i my vlastně připravujeme takový projekt, kde si opravdu budou moci lidi na exponáty opravdu šáhnout. To znamená, můžou se přiblížit, můžou se trošku ošahat, ale i když samozřejmě přizníme si to šahání, ta haptická zpětná vazba je samozřejmě velmi, velmi špatná. Jo, takže dalo by se říct, budoucnost, ano, je v té virtuální realitě představování věcí, které už dávno neexistují, tam ta budoucnost je obrovská, ale nesmí to být prostě bez konzultací, bez toho, aby my jsme jakoby IT sféry, řekněme, všechno vyrealizujeme. bez toho nic jsme konzultovali s těma odborníkama, protože oni, jen, že samozřejmě, přiznejme si to, oni jsou velmi konzervativní. A vlastně třeba pan docent Grulich je jeden z nejliberálnějších jako historiků, které znám, takže on to opravdu velmi vítá, ale i tak to nesmí být prostě jenom všespásný. Takže budoucnost tam je obrovská a mám takový pocit, že nás čeká opravdu nějaký projekt, kde budeme pro základní školy dělat nějaké rekonstrukce a bude se to zavádět i do výukových věcí. Takže je to pár hodin, co jsem ten e-mail dostal, takže ještě budeme ladit detaily.
No tak to je super, no to mi mluvíte úplně z duše, protože teďka shodou okolností tak probíhá tak Moonshot platforma a mluví se tam vlastně už po několikáté o tom, jak je třeba jako změnit ten vzdělávací systém, ale já nemyslím teďka jenom na děti, ale vlastně i pro tu veřejnost, aby chápali ten svět kolem sebe jiným způsobem a co si budeme říkat, ten COVID nám ukázal, že technologie hýbe společností, respektive jako jí hýbe do trošku jiné dimenze a ta multioborovost je tam naprosto třeba a v rámci jí je i třeba přesně, aby technologie nebyly viděny jako ta svatá kráva, jako to spasitelský, který vlastně bez lidského vstupu kus železa je schopen docílit nějaké změny, protože vždycky budeme pracovat s lidmi a ať už jsou to vstupní data, aby byla čistá, tak po to, aby se s tou třeba virtuální realitou dobře pracovalo ve školách, tak je tam nutná jsem chtěla udělat nějaký vtip na haptickou odezvu a lidskou odezvu, ale to teďka z hlavy nevykoumám. Ale je tam potřeba vlastně odezvat té veřejnosti a já si pamatuju, že právě třeba v těch muzeích vy zmiňujete třeba pach, takže v Londýně taky nasimulovali, že vlastně jakoby něco hoří a ty lidé potom vlastně měli takový věm, že opravdu ten kouř cítili, když tam samozřejmě žádný nebyl. Takže hraní se s těmi smysly a jako propojení i to umění a vlastně té technologie, tak se mi moc líbí. Ale je těžké ho docílit, protože často se mezi sebou nejsou všichni tak otevření jako výzkumné skupiny na FITu a jako vy. Jak vnímáte, jaké jsou důležité kroky pro tu multioborovou spolupráci, jak mezi jednotlivými obory, tak jednotlivými třeba akademickými pracovištmi, aby se to trošku někam posunulo? Protože ono to není často i jako diplomaticky jednoduché tady tu debatu ukočírovat.
No, já to teď řeknu trošku na rovinu, protože já jsem si opravdu mohl vlastně přejít na tu druhou stranu a vlastně začal se tam učit. Než se tam začal učit, tak jsem tam opravdu přistupoval, není to taková úroveň jako prostě studentů na FITu, je to napůl humanitní, tam ten obor je si samozřejmě zaměřený trošku na IT. Hodně jsem to podcenil. Opravdu, i když vlastně, řekněme, je to pochopitelné, nikdy nedosáhnou studenti v stejné úrovni jako by u nás, protože u nás se tomu věnuje 100% času, u nich se tomu věnuje mnohem menší čas a hlavně třeba oni nemají předměty, jako je matematika, jo, což u nás samozřejmě učit grafiku bez matematiky je nesmysl. Já jsem tam vlastně začal učit podobný předmět, který učím u nás a vlastně někde učíme tu fotomontáž. Musím říct, že výsledky těch studentů byly velmi podobné. Nemůžu teď říct, která byly lepší, byly tam práce, které byly jakoby hodně dobré, srovnatelné s těma nejlepšími u nás, některé horší, ale byli schopni tu práci zreplikovat. To znamená, naučil jsem se vlastně přestat je podceňovat. Přece ty počítačové vědy, já bych řekl, jsou trošilinku, trošku takový zvyhnutý s nosem, jako je to taková skupina lidí, kteří žijou ve své komunitě. A samozřejmě jsou tady takové ty známé nedorozumění, že samozřejmě ajťák s normálním člověkem se nedokáže mluvit, že jeden ho má za mimozemšťana a druhý ho má za neandertálce, takový ten klasický típek, myslím, že na jednom COFITu jsem ukazoval. A je to potřeba se vžít. Dále, pokud chceme vytvářet, řekněme, aplikace pro lidi, kteří jakoby budou pracovat s tou historií, tak musíme pochopit jejich práci. Ona práce jakoby v archivnictví, já jsem měl možnost tomu jakoby lehce přičuchnout v rámci předmětu, které jsem tam absolvoval a opravdu je to jenom letné, tak ten postup je úplně jiný, je tam potřeba se do nich vžít a právě když se člověk do toho vžije, tak teprve pak může říct, že může pro ně vytvářet aplikace. Ale úplně nejdůležitější pak je věc, ta zpětná vazba. A toho se dá samozřejmě dosáhnout přes usability testování, dá se toho dotáhnout tím, že se opravdu od začátku s tou cílovou skupinou o tom s nima mluví, o tom se s nima povídá. Tohle to strašně chybí u ty mezioborovosti. Jo, já bohužel vidím, ale to je i problém třeba obecně státní správy a podobně, kdy vidíme tu ukázky krásných aplikací, které by mohly lidem pomoct, ale fungují naprosto šíleně složitě. Myslím, že nebudu jmenovat jako přímo, myslím, že každý z vás to ví. A jako to je obrovský samozřejmě problém. Jo? Takže zásada je mluvit, zkomunikovat, poslouchat. Hlavně to naslouchání. Jo? Já jsem opravdu musel se jim vnitřním kolegům omluvit, i studentům, protože jsem si myslel, že to je jako prostě, že to bude velký problém a musím říct, že mě to změnilo názor na humanitní studia. Samozřejmě ty, které jsem poznal, historických věd a podobně, jako mám teď prostě na to úplně jiný náhled.
Moc děkuju za takovou úžasnou reflexi a nápad, jak to posunout dopředu. Je to taková vlastně až psychoterapie mezi jednotlivými obory, ale je to holt potřeba. No. A vy, co posloucháte, tak já hned zase za chvilku přepnu do angličtiny, ale určitě se, jako, jak říkají Angličané, watch this space, protože budeme připravovat, multioborovost je velmi důležitá, chceme do toho čím dál tím víc šlapat, a když se všichni oklepeme z organizace Unihacku a COFITu, tak budeme připravovat právě bude se to točit kolem archeologie, urbanismu a i samozřejmě umělé inteligence a využití třeba VR, takže to všechno sledujte, ale myslím, že tady to protnutí mezi tou lidskostí, to, jak lidi vlastně vůbec existují v tom svém ekosystému, jak fungují ve městech, jak fungují mezi sebou a to, co tomu vlastně technologie může přinést v rámci jako nějaké digitální pokrývky a stmelovače a platformy, takže je velmi, velmi zajímavé téma. Jirko, my děkujeme, já zase přepnu do angličtiny a přesunu teďka, jak říkám, s oblibou oko Sauronovo na Radka Richtera, ale už v angličtině. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching and you just heard us inside a bit of check-in, it's because we just wanted to discuss something regarding the multidisciplinarity, just to very quickly summarize what we just discussed. Fundamentally, technology is human-centric. It's humans that operate with technology at the end of the day, and dividing very artificially the IT world from the humanities world and from the public world makes absolutely no sense. What we want to do is, and we're thinking about launching, but details are to come soon, so watch this space, some form of a multidisciplinary research group or a multidisciplinary kind of group of enthusiasts that discuss things in connection that shouldn't seemingly be in connection, the way that academia is traditionally structured. So things like architecture, archaeology, artificial intelligence, all of these big themes that basically all fundamentally relate to how humans interact with their surroundings and how technology can help with that. It's a big theme that we want to discuss in the coming year. So stay tuned. Thank you so much, Jirka, for the wonderful presentation and the cheeky visuals. I have 17 balls. That's always good to know that you're just showing us. And with that, I would like to invite Radek Richter to show us showcase of Grafit and all his work that he does there. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I'll just say that usually he's just playing some trailers from results of the students' work. So maybe the eye of the Sauron should be on his stream than my stream. But of course, I've sent a link to you to the chat of the chat of together, so you can look yourself. Currently, I'm as a graphic.
Video is not switched. Okay, it's now. Okay, it's okay now.
Perfect. Currently, as a graphics group, we are called a graphic. The Jirka's part was one of the big part, which is focused on VR and AR and many things like this. I'm here to represent another part of graphic, the part with gaming, and after me there will be Alena and Adam and so on, which will represent the final part. So I will be short because it's just a gaming. So gaming, we are currently teaching two lectures. We are focusing on the game design. So we are trying to focus about to the concept, to concept of creation, because for example, in my lecture, I'm teaching just a game design, not about, we are not teaching how to create it in Unity, how to create it in Unreal. It's a different task for different lectures. We are trying to teach not programmers, but to teach game designers, which are of course a little bit smaller part of the whole gaming scene, but I think it's an important one. Currently, we are with a very tight connection with Warhorse Studios, which probably you know, Kingdom Come Deliverance, for example. For example, it's just the one game. It's not a for example. It's only one. But we are on every project presentation, on every validation of projects. We are trying to cooperate with this studio, with another studio, for example. I must maybe some minutes ago, you were speaking about that in virtuality there's something which is usually missing. For example, there's no smell. This part, which is one of my favorite parts, which is called modality mapping, which is something which we are focused in. For example, 8% of men are colorblind. So for 8% of gamers, it's a very intelligent idea to map the information which they cannot see, or which they can see, but which is very difficult for them. So this is one and not just visual information. It's, as you say, a smell information. It's music. It's sound. So we are trying to found some transition between sound, which is, I think, the most well known. For example, Witcher, where is sound mapped to visual information. But it's not just about the sound. It's not just about the colorblind. There are many important things. For me, I think the most interesting one is tactile device, which is information which is, of course, missing. But in the VR, for example, by Tesla suit or something like this, there's some very promising results. So this is one of the, I think, interesting part. That's probably all for me. If you have some question, you can ask. And after Sarah will ask me some very interesting thing, some very intelligent question, I will let speak Tomáš and Adam and Elena. So Sarah.
Oh, wow. Well, intelligent question. I'm not sure. I want to say hello to Elena and Tomáš.
Yeah.
Awesome people who I owe many email replies to, but it's been crazy since uni hack. But yes. It's been great. So yes, my question is actually the implications of developing games for a social theory, but also, which I'm sure that Tomáš and Elena will actually touch upon, but also the development of, for example, artificial intelligence. The logic that we derive, the methodology in machine learning, in, for example, stems from logic that comes from classical Greece, foreshadowing Tomáš's talk a little bit, maybe. A little bit, but I'm curious to what extent game theory itself is multidisciplinary, in the sense that we can test it in the game environment, but then it can also have research implications, both for humanities and the tech world. I'm just curious about your perception.
I probably missed the question.
So to what extent other disciplines, like, for example, machine learning research or even like humanities research, can inspire from kind of games theory and like the things that you may be testing out in games?
I think it's not a one-way direction. It's a cycle. It's a cycle, because the using of the game theory is just simulating the human behaviors, and from yesterday we had a very interesting talk with people which use drones for simulating the crowds or swarms, and the most important thing is that the men say we are simulating the crowds, and if we are talking to the scientists how it really should work, they say we don't know. So it's if we are creating some model, AI model or swarm model, it doesn't matter. The game or the virtual reality is a very simple way how to do it, something which is a little bit unethical in the classical real world. So this is the back loop which can be used which can be used with a very high advantage. For example, because some things are problematic in the real world, like putting some men on some people on the island and see what they will do. And it's absolutely, for me, it's the same, like making some AI in games and see how the NPCs work together to survive. And we have some very interesting results. For example, one student may create some simulation of ancient village, and one of the results was it's theoretically it's the better way how to survive is to create many child and let them start. They will work for some years, and after some years they will die. We have many child. This is something which is a little bit problematic in the real world. But this
little bit.
But it's some results which we can show how the model is worked, how the model is fitted, if it's fitted well, something like this.
That's so cool. I mean, I know we have a limited amount of time, but this is something that I would love to spend some time on, because like no as an archaeologist, I can't help myself that we are entering a new like era of our civilization, that the tradition, that the relationship between individuals and the institutions and the whole social structure is changing. Swarm intelligence that you pointed to, I think, is a huge topic, like the kind of natural order that you study at CERN, that you study if you're a biologist, that you study if you're an AI researcher, trying to find that universal truth of pattern behavior, and just basically simulating that in games. I was talking to even Tomáš Mikolov, who is doing his artificial general intelligence research, and he's basically taking lessons from evolution. So it's basically just simulating very quickly, accelerating many generations of behavior that you would never be allowed to do in the real world, fortunately or unfortunately, and seeing what happens. And the scale that technology provides us in this case is so cool. Well, this is why we need a multidisciplinary research group. But I will calm myself down and I will ask some serious questions from the public, because a lot of them have come in. I'll read them all out, but I think they're fundamentally one big question, which I can ask you. So what happens after Corona? Will there still be a need for, I guess, physical gathering? Do we want to go fully into VR and AR at some point? I guess as humanity, as a society. Where do you see virtual collaboration in 1 to 3 years? So in the medium term kind of period. What is the role of researching facilities in this industry, and how can universities collaborate with startups and companies like Together that we'll be presenting shortly. Well, COFIT is one example of that. So actually showcasing the talent and giving the platform to do that. But I guess the core question to all of this is, to what extent can machine interaction replace human interaction? But I think that's actually kind of a false question, or like a false duality, because that symbiosis in the middle is what's important. And I'm just curious about your perspective and how you think that this hybrid model can be achieved, or if that it can be achieved, and what research. Oh, those are questions for the Together platform, apparently. Oh, I'm sorry, but I would like your question anyway, please.
For me personally, I think you know me, and you know that for me the long term doesn't mean 10 years. For me, the long term means 50 years, 100 years, 200 years. But I don't think that the virtual reality will be the only one reality. I think for example, I know many students like Together, and it's because it looks like the real space, and they enjoy it because there are some emotion to the real space. So I don't think that the virtual reality will be fully integrated and will be just only one. But the question is, where is the middle? I think we can go much more further, but not absolutely.
Thank you very much. And we can always test it in the virtual environment if we go crazy or not. So on that front, Radek, thank you so much. Inspirational as always, thank you. And I would now like to move on to Tomáš and Alena. I have I got to admit a conflict of interest, because I have a warm relationship towards these two, because they do something I consider brilliant, and we spent a lot of time together at UniHack and before that working together and talking about ancient Greece and virtual reality. Without further ado, Tomáš, Alena, take it away. It's awesome to have you here.
Hi everyone. Thank you. Actually, before introducing the project, I would like to introduce the team, because this is what makes the project. We are multidisciplinary team. We are 3 anthropologists, 1 linguist, other social scientists, and then they are IT specialists like Adam Vesetsky and the others, who are taking care about the IT or technical side of the project. And this is what the project is. I'm very happy that we are now talking about the multidisciplinarity, because I think this is the future of the science, to connect both, also the social science and the technical or exact science, let's just say. And our project is as controversial as Radek was talking about his project. We are touching the very specific theme, which is ethics, applied ethics. And I would like Jakub and Tomáš to start talking about what the project is about. And then Adam will introduce you the technical side of the project, because he's the architecture of games, of computer games. So he will give you the technical introduce to our project. So Jakub and Tomáš, would you please?
So I try to start our presentation. If you hear me, I'm not sure. I just switch on Zoom. Okay, I will start our presentation with an ethical question. How would you behave if you had a ring of invisibility? What would you do? Would you be just, or would there be some looting going on, or something like that? It's a principal ethical question. How would people behave if there were no consequences to their behavior? And it's also a principal question on one famous scripture or book of Plato, and it's the Republic. How would people behave if there were no consequences? And what we should do if we would like to have good and just people, and furthermore, if we would like to have good and just society. And this question goes on and on in the history of science, philosophy, art, and we would like to focus our project to answering this fundamental question. And therefore, I'll let's speak Thomas.
To unmute it now. I'm not sure if we can hear each other, but hello everyone. I'm just really glad to hear what was told before, because we're talking about interdisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, about not being mutants, that technicians are strange people who understand only techniques, and we as humanities are just strange people who live somewhere in the clouds, maybe. But the thing what we want to do is to build a virtual simulator of Plato's Republic, Plato's ideal society, where we want just to examine how people will behave. This first thing, very important, and the other thing, just try to do some kind of experimental philosophy. That sounds like really weird. Philosophy is really theoretical field, but thanks to technology, we can try, and we can, let's say, quite safely try to build a society based on Plato's thesis, let's say. And the point is, how will people behave in the end? The society by itself is really problematic for me. For example, it's really like nothing we should wish for, but we just don't want to build Plato's polis, and that's all. We just want to see if people will enjoy living in this polis, if people will really be able to, let's say, be with the system. It's a strange dictator system. We will see then. But that's the question. But the most important is we want to see, and talking about the ring of invisibility, if people are really, if they have no consequences, they just can get killed in the police. And what's the problem? Nothing's happens to them. But the thing is, are they able to collaborate? Are they able to work together to build something like ideal society? And the most important question, is there something? Plato says that there is something like ideal society. And I can talk for myself. I don't think that something like this is possible. But we can try to build something similar, or see why it doesn't work or why it might work. We don't know, and we want to try it. That's probably it. And the most important thing for you, probably, as technicians, again, the stereotypes, is the technical part. And I think Adam, if he's ready, I'm not sure, will tell you more about this. So thanks.
All right. So hello, everyone. My name is Adam, and I'm involved in this project from, let's say, technical perspective. So I'm going to walk you through some technical aspects of this project. Hopefully, I will be able to share my screen because I do have some slides here. So hopefully, we can all see it. So considering, by the way, Politeia 21 is the name of our project, or also the name of our group. So the main idea, just quickly recap of what has been already said. It's going to be a virtual simulator of life in a given social arrangement as defined by Plato in his book, The Republic. And therefore, it's a VR environment to which respective participants will connect. They will pick up their avatar, choose a craft, and become members of some kind of society which will have its own rules. And the environment will offer many kinds of interaction with other participants, including voice interactions with various objects, with NPCs, non-playable characters and such. And concerning the research itself, I would say the goal of this project is to gather some data, which will be later on processed, evaluated, and will include overall aspects of behavior of participants in this social arrangement. What is everyone doing? How they react on certain stimuli or how the society functions on its own and such. Now, as for the engine, I think the development will take place in Unity engine. So we would like to build some kind of virtual environment with a robust architecture suitable for research of many sorts, such as machine learning, physical interaction, multiplier facilities, decision-making problems, classification, also voice recognition, voice interaction, something like an engine inside an engine to which everyone could participate, kind of a template of a project for the faculty. In fact, we can consider this a virtual lab. For instance, somebody would like to write a bachelor or master thesis on for a virtual system, and they would need some kind of functional virtual environment to test this system, and they can even use this environment as a base for this prototyping. So far, this project is in a conceptual stage. We are considering an iterative development which could converge to the main concept. The main idea actually stems from the fact that we would like to build up a team of people who would craft the very first prototype, and the following development would be simple to split into several teams. For instance, the first version will contain very simple low poly models and basic textures. One team will take care of 3D models and some high definition textures. Somebody will take care of weather systems. Somebody will work on the environment itself, buildings. Somebody will implement the voice interaction and such. And additionally, the project could serve as a base for many secondary projects of various kinds of experimentation. And of course, we will need students to help us actually to make it happen. Actually, there are many scopes just for the main project, which will need to be tackled, from 3D modeling and animations to some kind of automatic evaluation of events, data gathering and such. Also, artificial intelligence is another favorite, very favorite topic that could be also considered and introduced to the project, such as machine learning, some decision making and stuff like that. And since it's an academical project, we would like to take the advantage of creating assignments for many bachelor and master theses for this team project, also individual project as well. So far, we are gathering some respective topics, and in upcoming months, we are going to frame the whole specification and divide it into respective assignments. As for the topics, we have a wide spectrum of them, and as I've already said, environmental design, 3D modeling, interaction, artificial intelligence, and optimization of multi-agent systems and such. So there will be actually many opportunities for some projects like individual projects, team projects, and of course, just to make it happen, the whole concept of this virtual environment. All right, so that's all from my side, at least from the technical point of view. And I'm passing more back to either Tomáš or Kuba.
I can see now if someone's talking. Jakub is probably somewhere. Most important thing you've seen, just the concept. It's quite complicated cooperation throughout the different fields, as you can imagine. We want to build a simulator, really like to simulate reality. Yeah, that's it. We want to grab the reality of antiques and antique police and try to really make the environment from different perspectives, really, how is it called? I'm not sure about the word now. Verne. But you understand what I'm meaning. So probably Jakub would tell you more. But first thing I need to say, we wish we have to be grateful to Petr Klan. It's the first thing how the project just imagined. We are talking together, and he said, for first time in history, we can do something like simulate real life, and that's the idea that started how the project idea. That of course we can do something. We can try something. Let's say in draft, we can try to build some society, and we can try and provide people the possibility of living in some kind of social or society, we can say. That's it. Probably Jakub will tell you more.
I would just add to Thomas' words only that the focus on the interdisciplinarity, because from our side, it means from humanities side, there will be really important to construct the world as truly as possible. It means we need to look at the architecture of the ancient buildings. We need to look at not only philosophy, it's self-evident, but also archaeology of ancient polis and so on and so on. We need to consider some nature sciences, and it's really an attempt to see whether it's actually possible, this scope of interdisciplinarity. And we are, as Adam said at the beginning, and we are really thrilled to see what's the result from it.
I will add also a little thing. Actually, it's this kind of social experiment, but in a safe space of gaming. So it's something we can't do in a real society, but we can do that in a game. And also, this is a possibility for us to research the limits of ethics, which is also important actually for also social scientists, but also for technicians, because the ethics is very actual in virtual reality and all stuff which are making nowadays. So that's I wanted to add too. Okay.
This is great. Thank you so much to all of you for sharing that. I remember that we were discussing this maybe in November, and it was an idea, and we're all very excited about it. And we thought, how the hell do we make this happen? And then suddenly UniHag happened, which you won, and congratulations. And now we're here with a prototype and a beautiful looking presentation. And to anyone watching, we're actually with discussions with the archaeology department at Oxford University as well. And what we really, when Jiří was talking about with his first presentation at the start, I didn't realize we'll be going into this. So this is such a beautiful coincidence. And Radek, thank you for bringing this project here, because it beautifully shows on a concrete example the importance of multidisciplinarity, of ethics, humanity, archaeology, tech, and it's urbanism, and it's just a really, really nice thing. And given that society is headed in the what is the likely direction of much more decentralization, where things like swarm intelligence and local communities and understanding what it means to live in a new community and interact at the same time in a digital world, in a cloud community, where suddenly you have things like the meme community, which is hundreds of millions of people who've never met and who never will, who are existing with a newly created symbolic language online. And you have all these really interesting anthropological phenomena picking up as technology scaling to regular people more and more. And the fact that everyone has an internet in their pocket, it changed drastically for the last 5 years. And I'm really curious what social, political and economic implications that will have, especially when given the nuclear bomb that was COVID, that will only accelerate this. So thank you so much for your work. Thank you, Radek Richter. Thank you, Jiří Chludil, for the academic perspective. And how this works in real life, well, there's already several examples. One of them is the Together platform. I will let the chaps do their own talking and their own introductions. But what I just want to say that if you're watching this, you're watching it on the Together platform. The way that partnership came about is that I was on some random conference that was about German industry, and I saw the platform and it didn't crash and it was working and it was really cool and it was this virtual world, and I thought, okay, this is much better than just being on Zoom. And this very charming young man, Matt, was basically saying, oh yeah, no, it's the Together platform, we're relatively new, and I thought, do you want to go and do a hackathon with us? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, really? Is this like a marketing trick? Is this possible? But they're the nicest people, and there's already a very fruitful partnership happening between the Faculty of Informatics and Together, and I'm really, really happy that it's happening. So gentlemen, it's all yours. Tell us what you've got, and I'm really looking forward to your presentation. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, thank you everyone, and thank you, Sarah, for this wonderful introduction. And again, we are super the relationship and the partnership between the CTU, the UniHack team, and Sarah. It's just it's very, very nice, and to see that also such thing is possible in a completely digital and remote world. And yeah, so let's get started. Our topic is togetherness in a digital reality, the balancing act between video calls, gaming, and VR. So let me start with an interactive question. So please respond with Giphy and the chat on together. You have, of course, you have the chat for everyone, and there's a small icon for Giphy, and you can type in, for example, Bratzel, and then a Bratzel will pop up and you can share it with the audience. So, and the question is, why do we go to meetups? For example, AI. For me, number one is the most important thing is the pizza, which is perfect at room temperature. Of course, it's best after one day, but still, most meetups, they don't, you don't go there for the next day. And of course, the draft beer. Second one, inspiring speakers and inspiring talks. And last but not least, also, I want to create and build a personal network, and I want to have meaningful conversations and build my personal network and want to do, for example, networking. So, and let's look at this one at, for example, of a meetup from a digital kind of standpoint where we are at the moment. So we have three items here: free food, drinks, inspiring talks, and making new connections. And number one, okay, you can solve this also in the digital and remote world. You can order food and drinks, you can order a beer. It's not draft, but it's still a beer, so it's fine. You can get inspired on Zoom, as you are hopefully in this very moment. Or you can listen also to podcasts. So with Zoom, with on Spotify, TED Talks, that's all good, works totally fine. But now we come to the last point, making new connections. And this is, I think, where we struggle at the moment and where we have to find ourselves in this new world. And that's why we also came up with the Together platform. So a little bit about the Together, about our enterprise business. So we've launched our prototype in May 2020. We have founded, we are quite young, 3 months ago in January. And we have 3 wonderful team members. Sam, he's also on the call. He will cover the technical challenges and details of our platform. Julia and myself. We have 0 full-time employees. So we do this as a side hustle, apart from our full-time jobs. So we do this, we take vacation days, we do this on weekends, and we completely bootstrapped. So we pay out of our own pocket for like the server costs and this kind of things. Cool. So what is Together and what is our company doing and what's our core product? I think everyone who's watching this at the very moment, you are power users until now, or for now, because you used it for already 1 or 2 days, and you're also going to use it for the next 2 days. And also we are super happy to see old faces from the hackathon. So we have some power users here. For people who are watching the recording, the idea is you can jump from room to room to meet new people, and you also can only hear and see the people who are in the same room. What is the room? And for example, if I would click into Barclays, I only could see the employees and talent acquisition guys from Barclays, and I can talk about internship, for example. Also later on, we're going to talk how we created this platform together, because this was it's a great partnership with Andre and Ilishka. So shout out Andre, he came up with the prototype, and together we developed this beautiful atrium, and we hope that you like it. So shout out to Andre and also Ilishka for kicking this off. Cool. I don't want to talk too much about myself, just because this is also about your career and for talent. So I started my career quite early, so 2 years ago, and I worked for SAP, and now I'm currently employed at the Uber company. It's Karim. Karim is Uber, but for Middle East, and I'm joining delivery here in May. And how I started my career was with internships and working student I was working as a working student for companies. So please use the opportunity of the Together platform and this festival. So go to the kiosk, talk to the companies, ask for an internship, or maybe you can even write together your thesis together on super exciting real life problems and challenges. So use the chance you have today and the next 2 days. Good. A little bit about the industry Together is currently involved in. So on this slide, there's a lot of going on. That's a good example how to do not slides or PowerPoint presentations. So what can you do nowadays in a fully digital world? You can go to concerts, for example, on the top right, we have the Marshmallow Fortnite concert with more than 10 million players in attendance. I mean, in the real world, it's not even possible to have 10 million watching one concert at the same time. On the top left, you can see this is a Minecraft, so you can build your own concert hall or theater hall and go there with friends and watching movies or also joining concerts. And of course, you have Zoom, you have WebEx, so you can collaborate around the world with teams. And of course, you have Counter-Strike, Fortnite, you can play with strangers, you can meet new people and make connections. And we also have this, and at the bottom right, we have this little bit creepy kind of VR environment where you also can meet and collaborate together in the Mozilla Hub platform. And what all those activities or tools have in common? So people meet here, they talk to each other, they play games, they make new connections, and they just want to have a good time, for example, or they also want to work together. And we Together, we asked ourselves, okay, so there's this triangle with those 3 extremes. We have traditional video conferencing, Zoom, Skype, Hangouts, the list goes on. And I think most of us are quite tired already about the Zoom. I mean, there's also the term Zoom fatigue. And we have MMO games, so like Fortnite, Minecraft, GTA Online, Counter-Strike. And on the right corner, we have fully immersed VR solutions like Mozilla Hubs again on the right corner. You see this bit awkward looking 3D world where you can walk through the digital space and meet new people. I think it's a bit awkward, and we as Together, we are somewhere in the middle, because for us it's important. Okay, sure, we could go in fully VR, and we also could load a lot of gamification, and we could add all of those great features we have in Skype and Zoom, so that you have, for example, a grid view of 500 people, or that you are fully 3D and this kind of features. But we decide, okay, no, we want to stay simple and we want to get things done. So for us, it's super important to have a low barrier to entry and easy to use. So you don't need an account as an attendee. You just click on the link and there you're there, and you can get connected in our platform. It's playful, but it's still focused. So not too much gamification. And it's, because we want to focus on the talks and on the networking part of those events. And the last pillar is that we are entertaining, but not disturbing. So we try to avoid like strange avatars that are a bit awkward. So we are somewhere in the middle. Cool. So as I said, we founded our company three months ago, and we had a lot of events on our platform. For example, so you can see there's a huge need for people to get together in a digital world. For example, in the top left corner, you can see there's a event going on. And we have 2 talks going on in parallel, and a few people also networking somewhere in the space. We also have a map next to it from high school. They're using us for their weekly classes. 2 weeks ago, we even had a pub quiz on together after the UniHack hackathon. And of course, we had the UniHack on our platform, so people could work and collaborate in one space and one tab. And also the mentors could jump from room to room. And also, of course, we have this event on our platform. And we also have teams using us for their everyday work. So they join the platform and collaborate with the team, and they stay on the platform the whole day. Cool. Enough buzzwords. Now let's get technical. Sam, stage is yours.
Awesome, thanks very much. Let me just share my screen in a moment. Oops. Awesome, let me introduce myself. My name is Sam Ronald Oldfield. I'm one of the co-founders and self-described software architect at Together. I have a background in robotics engineering, having studied it at Auckland University. And from there, I worked a little bit in the robotics industry, the music software industry, the mobility industry, and then most recently in a fintech neobank. So thanks, Matthias, for giving us an overview of sort of the industry and the high-level intro into Together. I want to now dive really deep into the technical for all the fellow nerds among us. So how does Together work? Well, you probably already know how it works just by using it, but it's a very traditional sort of setup. We have a bunch of clients, media-enabled devices. Those are running web browsers. And they're sending and receiving audio and video data over the network to a server running in the cloud, running Node.js. It seems quite simple, right? Like this is a very traditional web app setup. But believe it or not, it's only been the last 5 years or so, or a little bit longer, that creating an app like this has actually become feasible. And that's due to a number of reasons, but primarily due to the ecosystem and changes within that ecosystem. There have been some really key developments over the last 5 years. You know, the first one of these is media-enabled consumer devices. Everybody has a smartphone running, you know, an octa-core 2.6 gigahertz chip processor, high-quality cameras, high-quality microphone, 5G connectivity or broadband at home. They're all running a web browser, and more importantly, a standardized web browser. And you know, when we're talking about web apps, having a standardized environment in which to run your application is really beneficial, because it means you can develop it once, ship it once, and have it run everywhere. Traditionally, you had to compile for various architectures, and you'd have edge cases and different computers and that sort of thing. Much easier when you have a standardized web browser running everywhere. And finally, you know, the processors in our laptops and in our phones have these co-processors, GPUs and encoders, which can do real-time video encoding and decoding, which really opens up the world, or opens us up to real-time video communication. The next big change that happened about 5 years ago, or a little bit longer, was WebSockets. So traditionally, the way the web kind of worked was you'd have this call and response style system. The client would make a call to the backend, the server would respond with some response, and this dance would go back and forth, you know. Give me a web page, here's the web page. But when you have more complex web applications, here's an example of Bitstamp, a Forex or cryptocurrency trading platform. When you want to have real-time communication, that paradigm kind of breaks down, because you want the server to give you information immediately. You want to know what the price of Dogecoin is, like, as soon as it changes. You don't want to be asking the back end every so often, hey, what's the price? What's the price? You know, the soft real-time bi-directional kind of requirement. And that's where WebSockets comes in. And the W3C, the World Wide Web Consortium, is sort of a body of engineers who decide what the future is of the web, and they create standards. And the WebSocket standard was created by a guy called Jose. And thanks to that standard, Together is able to use WebSockets for all the real-time communication. I'll talk about Jose again in a moment. Probably the most key development in the last 5 years was a thing called WebRTC. WebRTC stands for Web Real-Time Communication, and it's basically the way, a standard which defines how browsers allow users to give access to their media devices, their cameras, their microphones, and then how that data is broadcast or sent between peers. you can. It's designed to be both peer-to-peer or centralized. You may remember Omegle. Actually, it was a project a few years ago, a little bit dangerous at times, depending on what time of day you went there. But they were heavily. They were one of the first adopters of WebRTC. Potentially even more interesting is a thing called WebGL. OpenGL has been around for a while. It's a relatively low-level interface to your GPU and enables you to do floating point operations and interface directly with your rendering system on the GPU. WebGL is the web port of that, effectively. If you ever used Google Maps, for example, you'll see these 3D renders. That's utilizing WebGL. Like I said, WebGL is quite low level. There is a wrapper, a high-level wrapper called 3JS, which kind of abstracts some of the more esoteric elements of WebGL, and I would recommend to use that if you want to get into that area. We don't actually use this together in production right now, but we do have a prototype where you're able to actually sort of pan and zoom around the map like you would in a video game, which is cool. But like Matthias said, maybe it's too far towards that sort of gaming side of the triangle, and we have to see and wait and see and potentially go in that direction later. The final sort of key piece of the puzzle, which has really enabled us to develop together, has been the ubiquity of cheap and accessible cloud infrastructure. Again, it was only a few years ago that if you wanted to deploy an application on the web, you need to physically own a server, and when your application got bigger, you had to buy another server. And if you went bankrupt, well, you're stuck with two very expensive servers, right? And a one-year contract with a hosting provider. So cloud infrastructure these days lets you, try before you buy and pay as you go. You can rent machines for as little as by the minute in some cases, and scale up and scale down at will. It's really amazing, super easy. We use DigitalOcean. This isn't a plug, we're not sponsored, but it's one of the more easy ones to use, and you can plan to start from about €5 a month or something. All right, tech stack and tools. You may be interested in wondering how we actually develop this. What do we use to develop this platform? Well, we use a couple of different things. So React is something, it's a framework, a JavaScript and TypeScript framework. And this is what we use to build the application that's deployed to the client. That's what's actually running on your phone. On the back end, we use a thing called MediaSoup. It's an SFU, a selective forwarding unit. It basically relays the packets of audio and video data to the correct people. So if I'm broadcasting, it's being relayed to all the other people watching my stream. It just happens to be that MediaSoup was also created by the same guy who created the WebSockets standard. So it's coming from a guy who knows what he's doing. Finally, Node.js, a JavaScript engine, runs in the backend, and that's how we actually run our server in the backend. Elasticsearch, I think it was mentioned in a talk yesterday, actually. Great tool for doing logging and business intelligence insights and graphing and that sort of thing. Blender is what we use to do our 3D modeling. GIMP, what we use to do our image manipulation. And finally, IntelliJ, it's what we use to do the development itself. Some of these are open source, some of them have community editions, but all really great tools, professional level, and yeah, really great. Another shout out to Andre for creating this map. Really awesome work. Okay, I guess normally this is the time where I sort of invite you to come and work for us as an intern or whatever. But we have no money, so we can't actually offer that. But we can at least ask or put it out there that we're looking for collaboration. So we want to have community-driven development. If you've got communities, clubs, groups, whatever, who you think would benefit from sort of transposing their physical community into the digital world, please go ahead and use together. If you want to have your own maps, get in touch and we can work together. You can provide your own maps and we can make that happen. On the flip side, you know, if you're more on the research side of things and you have some interesting research in the fields of AR, VR, or video communication, things like Zoom fatigue, like Matthias mentioned, or, you know, digital social anxiety or whatever it may be, also would be very keen to talk to you to sort of get some information and wise up on that topic. Awesome. Yeah, like I said, if you want to get in touch, here's our email address. Feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Matthias and Sam. Sam, we haven't met yet, so it's really nice to meet you. And Matthias, we have met, thankfully, and you guys have already done an amazing amount of work with us. And we're really proud that we can partner up like this. I guess my question is to you that I originally asked Radek are the questions from the audience. You answered those partially in the presentation, both of you, but where do you see things like Zoom fatigue, things like, I mean, I was taking an Uber the other day and they were saying, oh, you know, nothing can ever replace human interaction. Like when I take people in my Uber, I actually do it for like my psychological health so that I can get to talk to people and not necessarily for the money. Where do you think that the tendency will go? What direction will it go in, and how together are you building this into your strategy?
So yeah, thanks again for the great collaboration and that we can speak here in front of you guys. So of course, where are we going in the future? Or so maybe in 1 or 2 years. And will everything be in digital also after Corona? We get this question all the time. And I think, yeah, so let's assume Corona is over. Okay, I think people will meet again. They will go to the office. But I think there are a lot of good learnings and also research now done in this field. So that people know about the advantages in the digital world. And I think we will come to some kind of hybrid model, of course. I think, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, I attended like a conference only for people who organize conferences and workshops. And they said, hey, this will never change. Of course, conferences will be partially online, partially hybrid, but deals are closed on the ground. So I think this will stay the same. But I think we will move to some hybrid model. So for example, that we have to, let's take the UniHack for example. We have the UniHack at the university. We have a lot of meeting rooms where the people can meet at their teams. But we also have some meeting rooms with like this Logitech setup with a camera, with a good microphone, and people from India, Finland, Germany, they still can join and complete. There's no pizza, but maybe you can find a sponsor to deliver pizza also to Finland. But of course, we still can collaborate. And same also in the, let's say, digital workforce kind of model. We also see a lot of companies hire globally. So, and also a lot of offices or companies going completely digital. So I think we're going in a very interesting direction. And I think it will be some kind of hybrid model.
Thank you. And you have very much laid the foundation, I think, for the future of, again, like how just society will be structured, is the fact that, you mentioned you can get a sponsor to deliver pizza to Finland. Why not? Like it's just like the decentralized logistical global network is there. It's a reality. And, we when you applied to more poignant matters like the distribution of vaccines, why should they be done on a national level? Why can't they be done internationally? If one country has a surplus, you can optimize it and just like transfer it within some kind of a logical distance. And Zipline already does this in Africa, for example, with blood transfusions and blood deliveries via drones. So I think it's a changing world. Of course, you can go like the hipster way. Like I was once at a conference where you actually could get cocktails delivered. And I was thinking, come on, we're like in the middle of a pandemic. Like, yes, I like a gin and tonic, but not that much. But then there's the more philosophical points that I think we were talking about here throughout today, which is how to build technological platforms that encapsulate humanity, but also give space for cutting edge research. And Matthias and Sam, you've both shown that in a wonderful commercial example, applied example, but Politea 21, Radek, and the rest of the wonderful people from the COFIT laboratory, but also from the Sage Lab under the leadership of Jiří Chludil, they've shown that even things like human heritage and actually remembering what our identity is, that can be kind of facilitated through technology as well. And I think it's important to remind people, especially the general public, that technology isn't cold bits of metal, that it is a new form of electricity or steam engine or whatever you want to call it, that can make our lives better, and that can be very, very human. There needs to be the will to cooperate on a multidisciplinary level. Thank you everyone again. Thank you also to those who've been watching. It's been, I absolutely love this. It was so cool. I'm sorry if it was that obvious that I was so enthusiastic, but I enjoy COFIT always because it's this exact spirit of coming together and collaborating that works so well. So I'm really honored that I can be a part of it. And I would like to invite you in 36 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to go have a quick coffee and then we'll be back here at 17:00. Like in the army, make sure that you synchronize your watches because we'll be here for what I like to call the Python's Flying Circus, which is the surreal life of programming languages. So we'll be talking to Jan Vítek from the PRL at Prague laboratory that looks into the research into programming languages and programming as a discipline. And we'll also have Jindřich Kubát from the commercial bank, Commerzbank, who will be talking about DevOps and kind of that journey from being a startup to being a corporation. So I think it was going to be a very nice end to the day. We just had a wonderful insight into graphics, VR, AR, and the creation of communities in the cloud and in the digital. And thank you again, everyone, for a great discussion. I think there'll be a lot of follow-ups where that came from. Have a great day. Enjoy the Together platform. Thank you for the heart, Matthias, sending a big heart back to you. And see you here in 35 minutes. Bye.